Marketing Your Private Practice is a podcast where you'll learn easy to implement tips and strategies to grow your business without spending all day online. I'm your host, Kathy Colaiacovo, and I teach practitioners the Thrive marketing method to create simple and streamlined plans by focusing on long-term strategies, not just social media. Discover ways to spend less time on your marketing, attract more clients, and build the financial freedom that comes with a thriving practice. One where you have time left in your day for the people and things that matter to you. Hey, private practice heroes. Thanks for tuning into the podcast today, where we're going to talk about one strategy for marketing your practice that folks tend to forget in their quest to find clients. I'm your host, Kathy Colaiacovo, and my goal with this podcast is to share with you ways to grow a thriving practice with simplified and streamlined marketing. You know, the kind that doesn't take hours a day to make happen. In episode 31, I shared 5 mistakes practice owners make with their marketing, but I left one bigger picture mistake off the list. This is the one that often causes a huge problem in the area of content marketing, and we're going to deal with this one today, because I don't want you making this mistake either. Now, I got the idea for this lesson because it was something I noticed as I was prepping for my upcoming free marketing bootcamp that I'm doing in mid-March. I'm teaching folks how to create their consistent content plan, and you're definitely invited to join in. You can book your seat at marketingmomentumbootcamp.com. Now, if you're not sure what a consistent content plan is and how it guides all of your new marketing content creation, definitely make a note to go back and listen to episode 28 of the podcast, 5 Ways a Consistent Content Plan Helps Grow Your Practice, and I will link to that in the show notes too. Anyhow, as I was doing some research for some of the examples and stories to use in my sessions, I realized from my own notes that I've been seeing a theme of sorts in the marketing assessments and strategy sessions I do with members of my Thrive Marketing Academy. When I was reviewing notes from the past few years of these sessions, this theme was popping out at me, one theme. Every month I'm talking with clients and Thrive Marketing Academy members. So what we do in these sessions is we go over their goals and their plans, and we look at ways to help them improve and optimize their marketing. The sessions are to help them use my experience to make sure they get to the finish line faster without wasting time on activities that won't be effective. So as I was going through these notes in prepping for the boot camp, I was noticing one similar piece of advice that I saw in a lot of the action steps I was giving to many of these clients. And it was all focused on stopping any new marketing and creating content until they did one thing. And I really did say that to some folks, telling them to stop posting any more marketing content until we deal with this. And the reason for this was that what I saw was causing them a huge waste of time and energy with their marketing. Because as I was checking my notes, I saw this one specific question I kept asking in the sessions was ultimately what I was trying to ask them is, what's the goal of this marketing content that we're talking about? Or in some cases, it was, why are you posting this content? What is it supposed to do? And I ask these questions over and over because, you see, that's the whole reason for your marketing. It does have a job. And when you take the time to do marketing, to create content and to publish it online and use it in your marketing, whatever content you're creating has got to have a purpose. Even any activity you're doing for your marketing has got to have a purpose. But each one of these practitioners or business owners, every one of them in these cases, well, they were creating content and posting it too, but it didn't have any real purpose behind it. So when we dove into each one and we were looking at why their marketing wasn't working, and when I asked what the purpose for certain types of content that they were putting out there was, they really had no answer other than, I was just putting content out on my social media channels. And that is the problem. In each of these situations, the practitioner was putting time and energy into their marketing, but they didn't have a real purpose behind what they were doing. And all marketing can have a purpose, and it really should, even if sometimes the purpose is just simply to get out there and engage with people. That is a purpose as well. But for a lot of your other marketing that isn't really the engaging content type and the engaging activities and the connecting and the relationship building, that other kind of marketing content should be helping you achieve your business and your practice goals. And this means those goals and your marketing content need to be tied together. When they're connected so they work in tandem, they will help you grow your practice, not grow how much time you spend doing your marketing, because we do not want that number to go up. So here's what's often happening though, and folks are smart these days. These days, I don't think I've met one practitioner in the last 5 years who has not understood the need for them to be marketing their private practice. Everyone knows you need to be marketing your own business. You're a CEO of a business now. You're an owner. You're not an employee working for other people. You are the one who is responsible to bring in those clients who pay for your expertise and your services, which helps you pay your bills and build your financial freedom. So these days, I really find that most folks know they have to be doing sales and marketing. It's unavoidable. But what is avoidable is making mistakes with the marketing and not taking the time to plan it out so that it actually helps your business or practice achieve the goals you've set for yourself. And I get this. The planning is not the fun stuff when it comes to marketing and sales by any stretch of the imagination. The planning is the kind of stuff we like to skip so we can move over to the action stuff, the posting of content, the creating of images we make in Canva, and for the brave, making those videos that they put out on social media. A lot of times, the reason the planning is feeling like it's the boring stuff is because when we're in action, we feel like things are happening. And that's what the word action is all about. It means getting something done or accomplishing a thing, usually over a period of time in stages or with the possibility of repetition. Action is not sitting still. It is not taking the time to sit, think, and look to the future and make plans. Well, that's where all us ADHDers fall asleep and we get stuck with ideas and we start looking for something else to focus on or find the next squirrel or shiny object to distract us so we can get moving again and back into action. We do not like to sit still, and most people don't like to sit still, and that's what planning kind of feels like for a lot of people. But I promise you, it is this planning time that makes all the difference in your business. One of my coaches is big on sitting in the silence, as he calls it. And I managed to do this for a bit, and it does help, but it is hard to learn how to practice to do it. I remember one time years ago when I won a session with an intuitive healer. Okay, actually, now that I'm saying it, I'm kind of laughing a little because there I was working with an intuitive healer. I didn't really know what they do. But nowadays, I work with so many intuitive eating dietitians and counselors. So it's kind of funny. But anyhow, I got off topic there. So let me jump back here. I won this session from an intuitive healer, and I really had no idea what it was all about or how it worked. So when it came time for the day of our session, I didn't have any instructions on it. So I emailed her ahead of time to ask how we were meeting, by phone or Zoom. Neither, she said. When it's time for our appointment, just be in a quiet place for the hour. Ideally, you want to lay down on your bed with no distractions. Now, she is across the country. So I was sitting there. I have to tell you, I was very skeptical. I had no clue what was happening, but whatever, I decided to go for it. I won it. I was going to be open-minded and try it out. But let me tell you, that hour was the hardest thing I have ever done. Sitting still for 1 hour, awake, with no distractions, no phone, no TV on, in the middle of my day, there it was me trying to get some intuitive healing, which I didn't really understand what it was all about. But the whole thing was, I really didn't know how the entire experience was going to go because, frankly, I didn't get a lot of info ahead of time about what was happening. She just assumed I knew what was going on. And I'm the type of person, I like to know exactly how things go. I am that annoying, detail-oriented person. But I'm also curious, so I did follow through with this. Now, I'll be honest, I did fall asleep for a little bit, which she said was fine. And my family struggled with leaving me alone too. I remember the kids were like 10, 11, and 14, I think. And the appointment was in the afternoon, so they were around. And I was like, I'm just going to be on the bed for an hour. Nobody come in the room. They did not know what to do with me. So I made it. I got through it 1 hour with no distractions. I got my report the next day, and it was kind of interesting, I have to say. But I did determine that day intuitive healing was not for me. I get why some people will be cool with it, but it's just not my thing. But I have learned a little more since then about sitting in the silence and being still with my thoughts. And I do like this, and I do find it jumpstarts my creativity and ideas. But for me, what I need is a balance between the sitting still and how still I'm sitting. And planning is that act of sitting still and just thinking about what's going to happen, what's going on, what your goals are. And you've got to have that balance between action and planning if you want your marketing to be effective. So it's this silent time, this planning time that I teach my clients about and how it is so important to your success with marketing your private practice or your business. Because I know many of you listeners out there have other types of services you offer too. So yes, often you might hear me advise my clients to stop marketing. I suggest what they do is step back from their marketing and stop the creation of their content to figure out the why of their reason for the marketing content in the first place. And it's what I call stepping back to start planning. It's a strategy that we use when people have a lot of content out there that is not got a purpose behind it and when it's very random. Now, stepping back to start planning as a strategy sounds boring as heck. But I promise when you have a plan behind the marketing content and you have goals in place, this is what gives your marketing a purpose. It's the main way you avoid creating random content, and instead you're creating marketing content and doing marketing activities that actually work. When you know your goals, then you begin to think about the purpose of your marketing content a little differently. And then you can get into the creation part of it because as you're creating the content, now you're going to be thinking about what is the content going to do? What is its goal? Because knowing this helps you achieve those main business goals. Then with that plan that you have in place, your overall content marketing plan and your consistent content plan, you're also going to know the timing and placement of when and where to post everything online, which then helps you know how to write and create each piece of content, because when you know where it's going to go and where it's going to be placed online, all of them are different. The way people read your content on different placements online, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, on LinkedIn. So knowing that also helps guide you as well in how you create and write that content. This also then guides you with knowing how much you're going to put out there and how much you need to create and what, if any, marketing images you need to have to go with the written content as well. This stepping back to start planning time and this strategy is what helps you know and understand all of this. So when it comes down to creating your marketing content, you know the what, the when, the where, the why, and the how of what you're doing. When you're not guided by this, that is when you're going to find yourself spending too much time on your marketing. And often this is time that is not going to get you what you thought it would in the first place. It's not helping you reach those goals. Stepping back and taking the time to review your business goals and then making that plan with action steps and activities to get to those goals. That's what's going to help your marketing have a better focus and help you get to where you want to be with your business or your practice. It gives your marketing, especially the content creation part of your marketing, purpose again. When you plan out your goals and plan your marketing to have the purpose of achieving some of those goals, that's when everything fits together so nicely. And it also guides you with knowing how much content to create and when and where it's going to go online. When your marketing is not working, this planning will put you into action so that you know exactly what you need to be doing and what kind of marketing content you want to create that has a purpose behind what you're doing so that you are being effective. I remember a few years ago, I had a member in my Thrive Marketing Academy program, And during one of our strategy sessions, everybody in the program gets 3 private sessions with me as part of the year-long program. So we were on one of these sessions and reviewing her marketing content because she was really struggling with it. And when she shared her list with me, her content planner that she had 15 article ideas down there, and she had these articles ready for newsletters and blogs. She had them all ready and written. She also had all sorts of social media content ready to post too. She was really trying to be prepared. She had tons of this content. And she knew she had the content, but where she got lost was understanding how and where and when to put it all out there online. And she'd actually been a little bit frozen and hadn't posted much at this point. I think underneath it all, she kind of knew there was no purpose to it. And that's why she was overwhelmed and hesitant about actually hitting the publish button. And that's why, of course, we were focused in on this on the session. So I started asking her some questions, those questions I mentioned earlier that I ask on these sessions when the marketing content and the plans aren't working. So what's the goal of these articles? What are you trying to achieve with them? And that's where she really didn't have an answer. She'd written the articles, but she didn't have a real purpose tied to any of her business goals behind them. And by a purpose, I'm meaning having some sort of reason, a being, a purpose to help you achieve things like some of these goal examples. So let me give you a couple examples. So when you know that you have some of these goals, you're going to do things differently with your marketing because you're trying to achieve these. So here's some samples. Increasing website traffic by 10%. Adding 50 new leads this quarter to your email list. Increasing client consults to 3 requests per week. Increasing client bookings from 8 per week to 10 per week. So those are very specific goals and examples of goals. And when you have your goals like this, the articles and the marketing content that you create and want to do must have some purpose behind it in helping you reach some of those goals. Otherwise, they're a waste of marketing. You can't get to any of those goals. You can't get new leads or new client consults or bookings without doing any type of marketing or sales activities. So when you look at the kind of marketing activity that you need to do to help you get to those goals and achieve them, you've got to have some plans that connect the dots. And when you have goals like this in place, the marketing you create can actually be geared to help make those goals happen and realize those goals so that they are achieved and they are something you can check off in your goal planner. Ultimately, many of your goals will be intended to lead to more clients, not all of them. But that is the reason why this strategy we're talking about today helps you attract more clients, because now you're starting to think and plan about how you get new leads, how you get new consults, how you get new bookings. That's all going to help you plan the marketing to reach those specific goals. It also means you start thinking about them. And what I like to do is break them down into smaller parts for each quarter. So I might look at a goal for increasing website traffic for a year or new leads for the year, but then I break them down to every quarter and every month as well. And so let's say I do have a goal to add 50 new leads this quarter. What that means is some of the marketing that I do, the articles I write and create, should be speaking to my ideal client. It should be addressing a problem they have that I can solve and offering them some sort of steps towards a solution. Maybe there's an option like downloading my free guide to help them get started. So when I know all of this, then when I start doing my marketing and planning it out and writing an article for my blog or newsletter, I can create that content with the intent to make that offer, that call to action to the free guide. So the information in the article has got to somehow tie in to that free guide, to the problem the clients have, the solutions I have, and one way to get there, one step toward it, is the free guide. Then what that means is the content I create for my online marketing, for my social media, which typically, if you've been listening to me at all, you know I will tell you to be creating that from the main article. Well, some of this online marketing will then support the same goal of getting new leads. So when I create the content for whatever social media channels I'm going to be using or focusing on, it's still going to have some of the main goal of getting those new leads as part of the content I create. Now, I'm a big believer in having a mix of content purposes when you're creating your marketing content, especially social media. You cannot be the person that's out there online just saying, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff. No one wants to hear that. So you have to have a mix of content out there. And there are ways and strategies to make sure you mix it up too. And it doesn't mean making more content. It just means repurposing what you have differently. Now, this is a lesson I teach in depth in the Thrive Marketing Academy. But for today, just know that you should be mixing your social media content so there is a balance of sales content, business tips, and persona content. You want people to be able to get to know you too. So a big part of being successful with your marketing is that persona content, getting out there online and connecting and engaging with people. So once you step back and make a plan like this, that plan will guide the articles you create, and then those articles, along with your consistent content plan, will guide you as to how much new marketing content you need to create, especially for social media. They all fit together, but they're balanced by your original business plan and goals. So if you're someone who is skipping the first step of online marketing, which is to have a plan in place to guide you so that your marketing activities and your content you create are tied to your practice and business goals, this is the one strategy that will help you stop wasting time on marketing that's not working. Stepping back to start planning. It is a strategy that will help you avoid that content creation cycle that you never get out of and creating content without a purpose. Now, there are 5 aspects of this stepping back to start planning strategy I like to share with my clients. The first one is you need to set your goals. Knowing the goals you want to achieve is going to guide you in the marketing activities you want to be doing. Number 2 is you want to develop an overall content marketing plan and know all the tasks and activities that are going to help you achieve your goals. Some of your goals may be online connected and some may be offline connected with your marketing. And then there will be some sales activities that are part of it as well. Number 3 is knowing your ideal client. This helps you use the words and content that speaks to that person and resonates with them. It also helps you create your marketing content faster because it guides you with the words to say. When you know what your clients are thinking about and the problems they have, makes your marketing a lot easier to do. The 4th step in this stepping back to start planning strategy is to make sure that you create a consistent content plan. This plan is the one that's going to guide you with the social media marketing content that you're going to need. And it will make sure that you create no more and no less than what you need. Number 5, of course, you know me, I'm going to tell you, you need to block time in your calendar so that you can do these different aspects of your planning. You want to block time to sit down, think about everything, plan it out, and break the planning into chunks if it's challenging for you to do it all in one session. When you make plans in this way, you will find yourself stopping again. But this time, you're going to stop spinning your wheels when it comes to marketing your practice. You will get time back in your day because you are often going to be creating less content than you ever did before. And this is all what happened with the client that I mentioned with the articles and the content and no clue with what to do with them. She went through my goal planning training in the academy and came up with her priority list of actions and activities. She then reorganized those articles she had. She edited some of them to have a better purpose. She didn't have to rewrite a lot of them. She just had to add a little bit more into them so they fit and had a better purpose to help her achieve those goals. Then she was able to pull in new marketing content from these articles to use on social media. Plus, she also mixed in some of the other content she had created, which is what I would refer to as evergreen content, because it wasn't content that was related to any new marketing that she had created or was doing. It was stuff that was kind of timeless, which is why I call it evergreen content. So all of this meant she stretched out the usefulness of those 15 articles, and it ended up being almost enough content for a year for her. And then every time she published a newsletter and a blog from the articles she had, she made some new content for that cycle of marketing from those newsletter articles. So it worked out really well in the end, and it helped keep things fresh and current, and it didn't take her a ton of time. The best part about it all was she started seeing what she was looking for in the first place, a boost in website traffic, and she was getting more discovery calls booked too. And then, slowly but surely, her client bookings increased. Now, she didn't hit every goal that first quarter, but she was really close to 2 of them. And then the next time it improved even more. And I think that's something that's always a great way to look at your goals and your progress. As long as you're moving forward and you're making progress and seeing improvements, that's always a good path. We are not always going to be on point with our goals, but I think as long as you're moving forward instead of backward, then you're on a good path. But what I really loved most of all about what happened with her was that she found a way to balance out the marketing by using all that content she had created without a purpose, because a lot of it was that evergreen content. And then she mixed in the new content, and she was finally spending a reasonable amount of time on marketing. I'll be honest, when she came to me, she had spent weeks and weeks of prepping it all because she was trying to get so far ahead and ready that she would be able to work with clients. But what was happening was she was actually avoiding client work. And then she created all this content and didn't post it anywhere because it was so confusing. And she knew something was missing from it. So having this kind of plan that starts you off before you create any content for your marketing is so helpful in guiding you to being purposeful and saving time, but also getting the results you're looking for. So your action step today, I want you to really think about how you're managing and planning your marketing and ask yourself some questions. Is it working or not? Do you factor any goal setting into your marketing planning at all? Do you know how much new marketing content you need to create each cycle of marketing that you do? Do you even know what your cycle of marketing is? If you don't know that, then we really should have a talk. But if you do know these answers and you're following these 5 aspects of the stepping back to start planning strategy, then you're on the right path. But if you don't know these answers and you're not sure about them and you're not sure what's going on and maybe confused with your marketing and why it's not working, then there's a couple things you can do to move forward with some help. First off, you can book a quick call with me and we can do a mini assessment of your marketing and determine where your main roadblock is in this area right now. Second step that you could do is register for my Create Your Consistent Content Plan Bootcamp, which is starting today if you're listening here today on March 21st. This bootcamp will get you started on this very type of planning for your marketing. You can visit marketingmomentumbootcamp.com to register. And yes, the sessions are recorded. So if you miss the first one or even the first 2, you can definitely catch up. You can also join the Thrive Marketing Academy and get it all. You can get all those one-on-one sessions with me, the training, the goal planning training, all of it. And you get my help and guidance, making it all happen for your business and practice. And starting on March 30th of 2023, if you're listening around that time, I am going to have a bonus package happening for new members. So definitely book a call with me to ask about that and how you can get the extra private coaching and strategy sessions with me as part of your membership in the Academy. And don't worry, I've put links to all of these options for you in the show notes, and you will find them wherever you're listening to the podcast here, or you can visit marketingyourprivatepractice.com and you'll find them there on episode 33. The important thing here is if your marketing is not working and not getting you the results you want, take notice of what you're doing or not doing and think about, is your content you're creating and taking the time to creating, does it have a purpose behind it? Is it helping you achieve your goals? And then if it's not, take action to improve it. You might need to put the stepping back to start planning strategy in place to make some of these changes that will help your business grow. This is Kathy Colaiacovo. I just want to say I wish you a fabulous week. And remember, to thrive in practice, this will mean taking the time to plan things out, to sit and plan so that you can succeed and achieve your goals now before you do any of your marketing. I hope to see you all at the free boot camp. You can find all of our show notes and resources mentioned at marketingyourprivatepractice.com. Be sure to connect with me on Instagram at pepperitmarketing and say hi. I'd love to hear any feedback you have, and make sure to rate and review the podcast and hit subscribe on your favorite player so you don't miss any future episodes.